Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission, as always, is to get straight to the heart of things, delivering the most fascinating, essential insights from your source materials. We want to give you that shortcut to being really well-informed, fast.
And today, we're going, well, really deep on a very specific story. It's almost like a tiny, perfect little film scene. It's not about big historical shifts, but it tells you so much about, belief, motivation, and how we find meaning in randomness.
That's right. We are digging into this incredibly detailed personal account from Ipswich, England, back around 1978. The source is called A Witnessing Tale in Ipswich, and it documents this whole sequence, the intense efforts of someone trying to spread their faith, the crushing disappointment, and then this just unbelievable coincidence involving a lost wallet.
It was really quite something. And the focus isn't just the coincidence itself, which honestly is pretty mind-bending. It's more about the why. Why did the narrator see this string of events as, guided, maybe divinely guided, even when the actual results of their work were, minimal?
Right. It becomes this amazing window into confirmation bias, maybe, and how sometimes failure itself ends up being the most significant part of the whole experience.
Exactly. It's about how powerful conviction can really shape how you see the world. So let's set the scene. We need to understand the context here.
Okay, so Ipswich, 1978.
Yeah. The person telling the story is a very dedicated member of the Unification Church there. And you need to get the intensity of their mission. This wasn't like a Sunday hobby.
No, this was full commitment.
Total commitment. They were active too.
Doing what, exactly? The source mentions a few things.
Well, they played guitar and sang in this band, the Go World Brass Band, which sounds quite optimistic.
Go World Brass Band, okay. But their main job.
Their main task, day in, day out, was something called witnessing.
And witnessing was?
Witnessing in this context was basically street evangelism. It was a real grind. You're approaching strangers, just pedestrians on the main shopping street in Ipswich.
Trying to get them interested in?
Trying to persuade them to come back to the church center. The goal was for them to hear the divine principle.
Okay, and the divine principle, the source is specific about this, right?
Very specific. They presented it not just as like a Bible study interpretation, but as this comprehensive revelation that Sun Myung Moon had received directly from God in Korea. Over 9 years, apparently.
So the stakes felt incredibly high for the narrator doing this work.
Absolutely huge. You're operating from this place of like total spiritual urgency. You believe you have this ultimate truth to share.
But then comes the reality check. Street evangelism. It's tough.
Oh, it bites hard. The narrator says they spent the whole afternoon approaching numerous people, but the result, pretty brutal.
Yeah, the source says, unfortunately, nobody was interested.
Nobody. Hours and hours of effort, pouring your heart out for nothing.
That's got to be draining, physically, emotionally.
Totally. So by about 6 o'clock in the evening, they're done. They decide to, pack it in, head back to the center, probably feeling pretty demoralized.
Ready for a cup of tea, I imagine?
Probably. But just then, right at that moment of giving up, they make one last, almost throwaway effort.
Not happy.
They see a young man crossing the road, and they just sort of casually shout out, asking if he'd be interested in hearing about their biblical teachings. Not expecting much, probably.
And don't tell me he actually stopped.
You did. That's the shocker, the complete anomaly after a whole day of rejection. This young man actually says yes.
Wow. Okay. So a sudden success. Did he go with them then?
No, not right away. He asked them to visit him at his house instead on Sunday.
Ah, scheduled appointment. That's a step up.
A huge win in the witnessing game, yeah. The plan was set. Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock, and he gave them an address.
Which was?
33 Norwich Road, Ipswich.
Okay. 33 Norwich Road. But hang on. You're exhausted, you've been rejected all day, someone finally says yes, but puts it off for 2 days and gives you an address. Isn't that like the classic brush off, giving a fake address just to get away?
That's definitely the suspicion, right? It's the oldest trick in the book. But you have to remember the narrator's mindset.
Yeah.
After all that failure, this one, yes, must have felt like a sign. They clearly took it seriously.
They were invested.
Absolutely. They were going to show up.
And they did.
They did. Fast forward to Sunday, the narrator goes, and they bring along Angelica, who the source says was a German female church member.
Right.
They make their way to the location, 33 Norwich Road, Ipswich. 3 o'clock sharp.
Okay, moment of truth.
They ring the doorbell, and nothing.
Oh, no.
Silence. Just as you suspected, maybe? Nobody answers. The young man who seemed interested on Friday vanished. Or maybe never lived there.
So disappointment sets in again?
Big time. The narrator describes feeling disappointed, which, yeah, probably an understatement. They've trekked out there, used up their Sunday mission time, got their hopes up, all for nothing.
And now they have to walk all the way back again.
Exactly. Back towards the center, retracing their steps along that same main shopping street. It really feels like the end of that particular road, a dead end.
But this is where the story takes that turn, isn't it?
This is where it flips, completely. From disappointment to something else. They're walking back, feeling that failure, probably talking about it, and they pass Woolworths.
Woolworths. That really dates it, doesn't it? 1978 England, perfect detail.
It really does. So they're walking past Woolworths, and just by chance, they notice two young women walking a bit ahead of them.
Okay.
And as they watch, something small falls out of one of the girl's coat pockets. It drops onto the pavement.
Right. So what do?
Well, the narrator, maybe just acting on instinct or maybe always being observant from the witnessing work, picks it up.
And it is.
It's a small wallet, just, a normal wallet. Seems like a simple act of returning lost property.
Until they look inside.
Until they look inside, presumably to find the owner's ID or name, and the address written inside the wallet.
Don't tell me.
It's 33 Norwich Road, Ipswich.
No. Seriously?
Yes. The exact same, very specific address they had just walked away from, minutes earlier, feeling utterly defeated.
That's genuinely staggering, the improbability.
It's off the charts, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Think about all the things that had to align for that precise moment to happen.
Okay, let's break it down. The guy on Friday gives them an address maybe fake, maybe just not his. That appointment has to fail, forcing them to walk back at that specific time.
Right. And they have to be walking past Woolworths at the exact second that these particular young women who actually live at 33 Norwich Road happen to be there, and one of them happens to drop her wallet right then.
The timing is just perfect or impossible.
It feels like more than just coincidence, doesn't it? And you could bet the narrator immediately saw it that way. Not as random chance, but as something guiding them. A direct response.
So they must have been stunned. What did they do?
They were stunned, yeah, but they acted fast. They ran up to the two young women to return the wallet.
And then the conversation starts.
Right. And this is where it gets even stranger, in a way. The narrator tells the girl, hey, we were just at this address, the one in your wallet.
And asks about the man they were supposed to meet.
Naturally. But the girl says, yeah, she and her friend lived there. They're students sharing the place. But she knew nothing about the man they described. Had no idea who gave them that appointment.
So the man was just giving them a random occupied address to get rid of them.
Seems like it, a total phantom. But here's the crucial part. The narrator doesn't seem to get bogged down in that confusion. They don't dwell on the fact the original meeting was bogus.
They see the bigger picture.
They see the moment. This incredibly improbable event just happened, leading them directly to the actual residence of 33 Norwich Road.
Mm-hmm.
The practical details of the Phantom Man almost don't matter anymore.
The coincidence itself is the message.
Precisely. So they seize that moment. Instead of getting confused about the man, they ask the two students if they would be interested in visiting the church center.
Pivoting based on the sign they received.
Exactly. And what happened?
Did the students agree?
They did. The two students actually agreed, went with them to the center right then, and listened to an introductory lecture on the divine principle.
Wow. So, in a way, the mission was successful after all. They reached the people at the address, just not the way they planned.
That's the immediate practical success, yes. But now let's look at the follow-through, because this is where the psychology really comes in.
Okay. Did the students come back? Did they join the church?
No. The source is very clear. Despite this incredibly elaborate, seemingly guided sequence of events, the students did not visit the center again.
Oh. So the ultimate goal, the conversion, didn't happen.
It didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But, and this is the absolute key takeaway, that ultimate failure seemingly didn't diminish the narrator's interpretation of what happened at all.
How did they feel about it then?
The source says the narrator was very surprised and elated. Not because they got new members, but because the way it all unfolded seemed to have been guided by the spiritual realm.
So the feeling of being guided, the confirmation, was more important than the measurable outcome.
That's it, exactly. The victory was internal. It's a powerful illustration of how, for someone with deep conviction, the proof isn't always in the pudding. It's not about the final tangible result.
It's in the journey.
It's in the process, especially when that process is so extraordinary, so improbable. The sheer weirdness of the coincidence, the way the universe seemed to bend to connect them with those students, That was the confirmation. It validated their faith, their effort, far more powerfully than if the students had simply converted without the drama.
It's like the universe saying, yes, you're on the right track, keep going, even if the immediate step doesn't lead where you thought. The failure with the man was necessary for the sign with the wallet.
Precisely. The narrator felt seen, felt guided. The rejection, the failed appointment, those weren't just setbacks. They were necessary steps orchestrated to deliver this undeniable sign. The disappointment was actually part of the divine plan, in their view.
So, just to recap this incredible sequence, starts with the tough grind of witnessing zero success all day. Then a random, unexpected yes, leading to a specific address, 33 Norwich Road.
Then the planned meeting at that address is a total bust. Nobody home.
Which forces them to walk back, defeated, past Woolworths, at just the right moment.
Spot a wallet falling, pick it up, and discover it contains that exact same address, 33 Norwich Road.
Right, leading them to meet the actual residents, invite them, and give them the lecture, even though they never came back.
Right. The spiritual confirmation wasn't in the recruitment numbers. It was in the astonishing, perfectly aligned chaos that delivered the opportunity. It showed the narrator that every step, even the failures, was meaningful and guided.
It really is a compelling insight into belief, meaning-making, and how we interpret the events in our lives.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a kind of provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over.
Okay, let's hear it.
Think about it. How often do we dismiss failures, setbacks, or just plain bad luck in our own lives? We see them as dead ends. But maybe, just maybe, sometimes those unexpected detours, those things that go wrong, are actually clearing the path for something much stranger, perhaps even more significant, a synchronicity we wouldn't have encountered otherwise. What if the crucial moments are sometimes hidden within the plans that don't work out?